Good evening. Bonjour, Gwe, everybody. Welcome to the monthly council meeting of February 21st, 2023 for the city of Somerset. Order of business for today. We'll call the meeting to order. And just welcome council, welcome staff, welcome members of the public who are here present and those that are with us virtually. And as I'm learning, welcome to the media who are probably also here with us virtually, if not in person. A motion to approve the agenda, but I would like to say we're going to make a slight amendment, going to add 2 items to the agenda, more housekeeping type things. 5B, I'm going to add a second committee appointment for the ad hoc committee regarding the community fridge. And going to add 6D, which will be an FPEI-M nomination resolution. So if I can get a motion to approve the agenda as presented with those amendments, Councillor Adams, and second Gallant. The agenda is carried. Land acknowledgement. The land upon which we are gathered here this evening is the traditional and unceded territory of the Abogway-Mi'kmaq First Nation. Land recognition is a small but important process, step in the process of reconciliation with our First Nations communities here in Summerside, Prince Edward Island, and across Canada. Calling any councillors who have a conflict of interest to declare with respect to any item on today's agenda. Hearing none, we'll get started. First, motion to approve the monthly council meeting minutes of January 16th, 2023. I'd call for a councillor who was here in attendance, and I think everyone was, who has also read the minutes. So moved. Councillor MacDougall, second. Councillor Duran. Those minutes are carried. He's read them. Next, motion to approve the meeting minutes from the Committee of the Whole meeting as of February 7th, 2023. Councillor Gallant, second. Councillor McColman. And the last motion to approve the in-camera meeting minutes of February 7th, 2023. Councillor Duran and Councillor Ramsey. Anyone opposed or any changes to any of those minutes? Hearing none, those minutes will be confirmed, I guess is the proper term. I'm not sure. Do we have to vote on those? I can call for approval of the minutes? Yeah. I don't think so. We can, if you want. Gordon, doesn't matter. Anyone opposed to the adopting the minutes as proposed? Hearing no opposition, those motions are carried to adopt the minutes. And Councillor MacDougall, I will look into it and confirm the exact process. Item 3 on our agenda is accolades, recognitions. If any councillors have anything they want to say. Start with Councillor McColman.
Fellow councillors would remember, I wanted to honor and remember Mayor Hazel McCallion. She recently passed away and we didn't have one of our formal meetings. There was a state funeral for her. She was 101 years old, of age, of wisdom, I should say. Mother, grandmother, businesswoman, and then she found the love of her life as mayor of Mississauga. She served nearly 4 decades, 1978 to 2014. She retired at 93, which is a testament that we can keep on going for many, many years. She entered political life in 1978, and only 1 year into her leadership as mayor, a disaster struck a CP train loaded with hazardous chemicals, exploded like a bomb in Mississauga. And it caused evacuations of 200,000 people in Mississauga. But the amazing thing, there was no one died in that explosion, and a lot of the Mayor McCallion's swift leadership and organization handling that disaster in the first year in her mayor duties was given kudos at the time because she handled it very well. McCallion referred to the CP chemical disaster, calling it a Mississauga miracle. I have great memories of her as a new councillor and many councillors coming along, because she really mentored both male and female councillors. But in particular, when she did any sessions or workshops, she had a real down-to-earth business approach and a no-nonsense, very tenacious. And I think some of you might find me a little bit cranky sometimes, and I think I learned that from her. But anyway, it was really just something that was a really big impact on my life, to be able to have some mentoring through this wonderful lady. And the one last thing I wanted to point out as a mentor, Atlantic Life article in the newspaper. We do have a couple in Summerside that was recognized for an article. They were married 73 years. Marie and Noel Lyon, married in 1949, 73 years. Noel was a member of the Royal Canadian Air Force, a lawyer and a law professor, and Marie is a very well-known artisan in Summerside. So it's kind of nice to know that in our little neck of the woods, people are recognized for, you know, what they contribute to the community. So I just want to acknowledge them. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Worship. I would just like to recognize and thank Wayne Carew and our former councillor Brian McFeely and the 5,000 volunteers of the Canada Games that have just pulled off a magnificent feat for the Canada Games here. And it's going well, and whenever we get done with this meeting, we got to run out and and do our thing. So it's really good. And thank you, Councillor McCollum. I was going to call you Norma, but Little Hazel. I knew Mayor Hazel, and I served on the FCM with her, and I got when she had her Roll of Honor, I was presented the 15-year pin at the same time, so I have a picture here of her. She was a sweet lady. Thank you.
Can you remember what she was called?
Hurricane Hazel.
Hurricane Hazel. I thought that was pretty good.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I just want to put a quick shout out to our first responders for an event that happened last night here in Summerside, down on the harbor, where they rescued a person, an adult. They thought it was children out there. It ended up being an adult. But we had 7 firefighters a half mile out on the ice last night to rescue this lady. So police services, the ambulance services, they were all there. There were, I think, 30 firefighters responded to that event. The lady's okay. I believe she's okay. They took her right to the hospital. But I guess the other thing is stay off the ice, folks. Like, it's really important this time of year. I think it's the first ice rescue, and Rick and Justin, you may know, in 10 years, I believe. That's what Chief told me today. But anyway, so for all that equipment that they ended up purchasing and needed, it was put to very good use last night. So there were 7 firefighters going across the ice last night, a half mile at 9:30. So we have no idea how fortunate we are to have such a great team of volunteers here in Summerside, and I just wanted to do a shout out to them. Thank you.
Any others? I'm just going to mention one as well. It's a little in-house, but as well to recognize our own Councillor Ramsey, who secured the nomination for the Progressive Conservative Party in the upcoming provincial election. As you know, obviously, we are all nonpartisan, but you are a friend and a colleague, and congratulations. It is always a difficult feat, and wish you the best of luck. Anyone who puts their name forward at any level for public service and political office, I think should be very well commended, and best of luck.
Thank you very much.
Moving to item 4, public presentations, petitions, delegations. There are none scheduled for this evening. There are some scheduled for our next council meeting, and I think we have a member of the public here warming up. Moving on, appointment of committees. I have 2 committees to appoint. These are follow-ups from our Committee of the Whole meeting on February 7th, but I formally need to form the Ad Hoc Wastewater Management Committee. and appointing councillors Duran and Snow to act as co-chairs and the only members of the committee. The particulars of the objective, roles and responsibilities and goals of the committee were read into the minutes of February 7th. So I don't think I need to repeat those here now, but I just wanted to make sure I formally appoint the two of you and wish you the best of luck.
It was Snow and...
Duran. And the next, also following from our Committee of the Whole meeting on the 7th, is the establishment of an ad hoc committee regarding the community fridge location. At our last Committee of the Whole meeting, I advised that I'd reach out to councillors and see who was interested. And tonight, I know the working group the committee has essentially begun to have some meetings, but councillors MacDougall, Gallant, and Adams are hereby appointed to the ad hoc committee regarding the community fridge. Again, with respect to the objectives, purposes, and timelines, those were set out in the minutes of the February 7th Committee of the Whole meeting, and look forward to hearing back from you, I believe, at our next Committee of the Whole meeting in a couple of weeks.
It being, the community fridge being a community group, I guess I wonder where does council fit in? So I think that's what people will ask, because a lot of people realize that we're not involved. So I guess just where does this committee fit in is what some people were asking. So I just wonder if maybe we could kind of enlighten folks on that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. So any member of the public can reach out at any time to any one of their councillors with respect to any issue whatsoever, and if a councillor isn't on the committee, they should pass that information along to the ad hoc committee members. Same time, I think I'm not going to speak for the committee, but the committee could certainly listen to and speak with any member of the public and any member of council, and are always encouraged to reach out to individual councillors as they go through their deliberations. In terms of the process, March 7th would be the next Committee of the Whole meeting. The committee would be reporting back for a general discussion at council to receive feedback from councillors and anything then councillors hear from their constituents as well. With a return to, I'm going to try and get the dates right, but to the March council meeting for a decision. That's the timeline at this point. If the committee, I guess theoretically could come up on the 7th and say, look, we're looking for an extension, we're still working out some details. Yeah. They can come forward at that time, but the expectation here is to get this done quickly. And by March 7th to Committee of the Whole, and then to the following council meeting for a vote. Next, item 6, the introduction and reading of bylaws and resolutions. We have 4. I guess I'll read the first one in, Resolution COS 23-003, the Canada Community Building Fund application. Yeah, I have it here. Yeah, I can read it in, and then any councillor who wants to can move it and second it. Whereas the province of PEI, through the PEI Infrastructure Secretariat, has advised that the Canada Community Building Fund Municipal Strategic Component Program was open for applications until January 20, 2023. Be it resolved, Council endorses the city's application for funding under the Canada Community Building Fund Municipal Strategic Component Program. Be submitted as follows. One bullet, wastewater sewer trunk line. Moved by Councillor MacDougall, second by Councillor Adams. All in favor? Any opposed? Hearing none. The resolution is carried unanimously. Next, resolution 6B. I'm going to pass over to Councillor Ramsey to read him.
Okay. 004, February 21st, 2023. Be it resolved that Appendix A, no parking zone of the City of Summerside Traffic and Parking Bylaw CS-27 be amended to include no parking or stopping on the east and west side of Summer Street from Green Street north to Parkside School and around the corner to Beaver Street from Monday to Friday, September through June, from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. This was moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Norma McColman.
All in favor of the resolution?
Ca-
Oh,
Oh,
yeah, go ahead.
can we just get an explanation, maybe, how this will work, so the public realizes where the no parking is? I understand, but I think when we are just talking Beaver to Green, whatever, I just think we need to get a explanation out there that's clear.
Gordon? Gordon was in-
Sure, I can speak to that. We'll be, we'll be putting up new no parking signage. We would, if the motion's passed, we will do a, excuse me, a press release likely later next week that kind of has a map that shows it as well. This resolution and the recommendation that came to committee earlier this month was the result of a meeting between city officials, school board officials, home and school officials, Parkside staff, school bus drivers, and members of representatives of the school bus, the union that represents the school bus drivers, and the request that came forward through those groups was predominantly around the safety of children in that area when the buses are trying to enter and exit before and after school. So this was the recommendation that came from that group and flowed through to committee.
Okay.
All right, now I'll call for all in favor of the proposed resolution.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the resolution is carried unanimously. 6C, Resolution COS 23-005, to be read out, to be read in, to use his language, by Councillor Duran.
Okay, thank you, Your Worship. Many of you may recall back in 2019, there was some chatter around trying to get the toll lowered on the Confederation Bridge, as there has been for years. And just recently, it was December 9th, that Premier King sent a letter calling on the federal government to kind of reevaluate their subsidy. So we wanted to kind of reintroduce a resolution to kind of stay with that as we had back in 2019. So ideally, I was trying to get it read through at our last meeting, but just had to get the wording right. So the timing wasn't great. It would have been, because that's right after the Premier, after his letter was in the media. But a month later, I think it's still extremely important that we kind of state where we lie on the whole issue. So I will read into the record Resolution COS 23-005, moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Norma McColman. Whereas Premier Dennis King has called on the federal government to introduce a subsidy, reducing the toll on the Confederation Bridge by 60% so that it sits at $20 by September. And whereas the 3.4 kilometer Champlain Bridge, which carries a federally regulated highway and connects two parts of the city of Montreal, has no toll and is subsidized close to $200 million a year from the federal government. And whereas the federal government pays approximately $90 million a year for the Confederation Bridge and the Wood Islands Ferry. Be it resolved that Summerside City Council stands alongside the Premier in this effort to procure a federal subsidy and calls on other municipal councils in Prince Edward Island to do the same.
Thank you, Councillor Duran. All in favor? Any opposed? The resolution is carried unanimously. Thank you, Councillor. Thank you, councillors. We'll be moving on to Section 7, reports. We'll be beginning with Councillor MacDougall, Finance Representative. Oh, we have one more. You're right. I did read in D. Sorry, Bruce. One more resolution to read, COS 23-006, to be read in by Councillor MacDougall.
It's a very important resolution. This was moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Barb Ramsey. Whereas the Federation of Prince Edward Island Municipalities promotes and fosters effective, efficient, and accountable municipal government in Prince Edward Island, and whereas the Federation of Prince Edward Island Municipality presents a strong and unified voice for interest of its member municipalities, be it resolved, the City of Summerside appoint Mayor Dan Kuchar as a Prince County representative to the Board of Federation of Prince Edward Island Municipalities. Thank you.
Thank you,
Anyone else?
Councillor.
Yeah.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the resolution is carried unanimously. Now we'll move on to item 7, reports, and beginning Representative of Finance, Councillor MacDougall.
Thank you, Your Worship. And I have a report here from Director Kristen Dunsford. And good evening, colleagues, businesses, and residents of the City of Summerside. We are projecting to report a consolidated surplus of $7,403 for the 22-23 fiscal year and do not anticipate any significant variances prior to March 31st, 2023. Preparation of our 23-24 capital and operating budgets is well underway. We have been deliberating on the 23-24 budget and will be presenting this budget to businesses and the residents on Monday, March 13th at 12 p.m. Council will vote on the budget at a meeting scheduled for Wednesday, March 29th at 12 p.m. Now for an update on the status of our utility accounts receivable. As of February 12th, 2023, the following is being reported. Total overdue balance is $296,600, and that's compared to $208,100 on February 14th, 2022. Approximately 10% of our $29,600 of the overdue balance is greater than 60 days past due. This compares to 7.5% or $15,500 on February 14th, 2022. Customers who have an outstanding balances and have not requested a payment arrangement are strongly encouraged to contact Financial Services at 902-432-1230. Our collection process continues with overdue notices being generated and mailed to customers. We encourage customers to sign up for our utility customer portal and budget billing program. Please see our website at www.summerside.ca, or you can email us at customerservice@summerside.ca or call us at 902-432-1230. Thank you for the opportunity to present this report, and either myself or Director of Financial Services are available to take your questions. Thank you. Any questions?
I have one quick question, Bruce, and more just for the next council meeting. Would it be possible to provide basically a 6-month trend for the utility account AR?
I think so.
Just sort of so to be able to track that just as a barometer on need in the community? Okay,
Sure, no problem.
great, thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, just one question. I guess I'm concerned that we might be going the other direction again. I think for years our AR was going the wrong way, and I am a little bit concerned that we're going to end up reverting back. So I just want to make sure that we're following all the
We are.
parameters that we set in place, that we would make sure that anybody that has accounts receivable would follow strict orders to
Yes,
pay up.
I'm concerned about that as well,
Yeah.
and been in conversation with Director,
Okay.
and we're dealing with it.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor MacDougall. Moving on to 7B, Arts, Culture and Diversity, Representative Councillor McColman.
Thank you, Your Worship. First of all, I would like to thank Director Laurie Ellis for the preparation of the Culture Summerside report for this evening. The following report captures some highlights of Culture Summerside's activity from mid-January to mid-February time period. In the area of Museum and Heritage Foundation, Culture Summerside has been selected for a Heritage Recognition Award by the Prince Edward Island Museum and Heritage Foundation, and for the sensitive rehabilitation of the historic 1911 Armory as it assumed its new role as the Summerside Interpretive Center. The award will be presented by Lieutenant Governor Antoinette Perry at the Beaconsfield Carriage House on March 12th. So congratulations to Culture Summerside. Upcoming, the 2023 Mayor's Heritage Tea and Heritage and Cultural Awards will take place on Friday, March the 10th, here in Council Chambers. The Mayor's Heritage Tea is scheduled for March the 10th at 1:30 p.m. There are 12 City of Summerside Heritage and Cultural Awards, which will be presented at the tea. They will represent a wide range of heritage and cultural activities in the community in 2022. The tea will also be an opportunity to mark the 150th anniversary of the Prince Edward Island joining Confederation in 1873. So that resolution was very appropriate tonight so that we continue the Canadian highway across to the mainland. The National Flag Day, February 15th. Each year, as part of National Heritage Week celebrations, Culture Summerside joins with an area school to celebrate Flag Day and bring to life the story of the national flag of Canada. This year, an in-person Flag Day assembly took place at Greenfield Elementary, and I'm sure our mayor took place. Were you there? Yes, he was, yes. 60 Days of Fame exhibition series. An art exhibition entitled Imagination and Nature, featuring the works of Phyllis Gay, is now open at the Lafergie Cultural Center, 205 Prince Street. As well, the art exhibit Birds of a Feather, featuring the works of Elise M. Arsenault and Megan Roberts, is open at McNaught History Center and Archives at 75 Spring Street. Both exhibitions will be available to the public until the end of March, and a new exhibition organized by artist Vivian Aho will open in April. So we have some very, very talented artists in the area. Summerside Lobster Carnival 2023. Culture Summerside is currently working on the development of the 2023 Summerside Lobster Carnival program. Partners and sponsorships are being finalized, and program and sponsorship details will be announced over the coming weeks. This year's entertainment is an exciting lineup of island and maritime talent. Returning to the 2023 Carnival is the East Coast Amusements Midway, the lobster food demonstrations and taste testing with Chef Robert Pendergast, PEI Youth Talent Search Competition, the Amateur Country Music Singing Competition, Lobster Suppers, Lobster Trap Stacking, it's a competition, cardboard boat races, community barbecue, and the Summerside Lobster Carnival Parade, and more to come. So we will be announcing that as things unfold. The grants that Culture Summerside has been awarded a grant from the Community Museums Association Museums Development Grant Program to further their work in the areas of collections management, more specifically the intellectual order, standards of care, and storage for artifacts. So they're very, very busy putting a lot of different things together, and just want to give a shout out to their efforts. That concludes my report.
You want to know about a question? Oh,
You can go ahead, Barb.
okay, no, I didn't know, I didn't see your light.
That's all right, go ahead.
Well, it's not a question. It's a bit of excitement here because after 20 years, we brought the Country Music Talent Show back last year with standing room only for both nights. It was just so exciting. I'm just happy to see it back on the agenda for this coming year. So many people asked that it would be back on, and really excited about it, and I know it will grow this year as well. So I'm just really pleased to see it there. Thank you, Councillor, for your input on that. I appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I guess just a comment, I know the dates are not on here, but my understanding is that we're going to be up against the Cavendish Beach Music Festival again this year. As a councillor and somebody who is involved in a lot of things in the city, I think we're probably making a bad choice of trying to go up against something that draws so well, strictly to the point where I can tell you, now that I'm in the hotel business, we don't have any rooms left at our hotel that weekend. So how can we attract people to our community to take part in the festival? I think we need to do everything possible to get off that weekend. One, to allow the festival to expand and grow to what it really should be as a community celebration, and bring people in from around the Maritimes and province to Summerside. And I just think we're really up against something that it's hard to compete with. So I would highly recommend, and I don't know if it's doable for this year, it's probably way late in this year, but if we can do anything to get off that weekend that we're not competing with Cavendish Beach Music Festival, then we need to do it.
It was the same last year. We were up against it last year.
Yeah.
I thought we were going to try and do something.
They're adding the second.
Because of the Midway.
Yeah, they have, and those are dates that are locked in. But actually, we are meeting tomorrow, Culture Summerside, at 11 in the morning. So if I could ask you, would you mind sending me an email with the real pertinent details so I don't forget anything, and we'll certainly bring it up? Okay, great, thanks.
Thank you, Councillor McColman. Moving on to Tech Services, Representative Councillor Duran.
Thank you again, Your Worship, and thank you to Director of Technical Services, Aaron MacDougall, for preparing the report for this month. Preparations for the 2023 construction season have begun. Staff are continuing in the process of preparing budgets for the 2023 capital projects. Staff have started the preliminary stages of designing and preparing some tenders for this upcoming season. This work will continue over the next couple of months. It is anticipated that the first few tenders will go out in late March, early April, to be ready for May construction starts. Staff are trying to rejuvenate the review of the subdivision and site development bylaw. This review process has been ongoing for the last year or more, but has been getting set aside based on the volume of development and other projects in the last few years. Excuse me. We issued just one new building permit for a change of use for the month of January. Staff continued with the other various inspections for the projects that are progressing throughout the winter season. Staff continue to review various projects and consult with developers who have a number of projects at various levels of completeness in the plan preparation stage. As we mentioned, developers are stopping in and speaking to staff for assistance with their proposed projects for next year. Now is also a great time for citizens to ask for assistance with their projects that they may have planned for 2023. And that concludes the technical services report for, I guess, January 2023. If there are any questions, I'd be happy to attempt to answer them. All right.
Thank you, Councillor Duran. Moving on to item D, Economic Development and Growth, Representative Deputy Mayor Corey Snow.
Thank you, Your Worship. First, I'm going to start with the monthly report, just some key points from it. Economic Developers Association of Canada, with over 300 delegates from coast to coast and international delegates, EDO is working hard to coordinate the logistics, subject matter, and local community impact for the existing return of the event. The conference is from September till October 3rd of 2023, so we'll see 300 delegates in our city for that event. In regards to speaking engagement, EDO has participated in a number of keynote sessions centered around key objectives to move our economy forward. We participated in 3 online events with universities and labor recruitment professionals promoting opportunities for employment in Summerside. Clean Tech, EDO continues to champion the Clean Tech file here in Summerside and have participated in several events this past month, sharing clean tech aspirations, working with all our partners to, as well, EDO has been working on a strategy document to further advance clean tech net zero ambitions for Summerside. A recent quote from Soren Hermansen, CEO and Director of SAMSO Energy Academy at an event in Ottawa, speaking to FCM officials about the clean tech spaces, sums up Summerside really well. He cited Summerside PEI as a community that has embraced renewable electricity. It's home to a quartet of 3 megawatt wind turbines and unveiled a $69 million solar farm last year that will boost its renewable production above 65% of the local demand. Clients continue to be the mainstay of our service delivery. We continue to offer a full suite of locational, community, and networking for clients looking to establish, grow, and connect their business operations in Summerside. So that's just some key notes for the report. But also, as we know, the Business Retention and Expansion Survey was compiled. The report has been finalized. And 3 important priorities came out of that, and I'll speak a little bit further with a write-up I have here. But 3 of the main factors that came out of importance were the availability of health and medical services, availability of adequate housing, and the availability of skilled labor. So tonight I'm excited to announce the community retention and expansion pilot programs that we're going to look to develop here in the coming weeks. So for years, the City of Summerside has been working closely with all sectors of the economy to understand, engage, collaborate in addressing issues of opportunities within our community. For manufacturing and healthcare, our economy's functioning is premised on our local business ability to sustain, grow, and prosper in the dynamic environment. It is well known that retaining, expanding existing businesses as a strategy is foundational. Sorry, I've got a cold here, guys, so I'm trying to get through it. To the community's health. As identified in our recent Business Retention Expansion Survey, Summerside businesses are bullish in the future prospects of Summerside and have a high level of optimism for business growth. With this growth comes challenges. For the past 3 surveys, directly correlated is attracting and retaining labor and access to health care. Over the past 4 years, labor and health care have topped the top 5 concerns of businesses, and their future vitality and accessing health care hit a #1 concern in 2022. We also recognize that our local government is best positioned to fundamentally address and take ownership of engaging our community, developing technical solutions, and working within our business community to develop practical and results-driven programs to address the business concerns. But we can't do it alone or in isolation. It takes a community to build a city. That is why today I'm pleased to announce that we'll be launching the Community Retention Expansion Pilot Programs that will develop targeted tactics within core sectors to support local business. We will be developing over the course of the next several weeks front-facing retention strategies to address fundamental issues within core sectors, starting with the healthcare sector. Given our business community has strongly suggested access to healthcare as the major growth barrier, this is where we'll launch our first initiative. Having strong, stable, energetic health services community is an integral part of a vibrant community. Further, we have already taken significant steps researching and understanding the challenges this sector faces, and will be hosting a healthcare roundtable in the coming weeks to engage and understand and shape our pilot program to kick off this important foundational work. We will be bringing together healthcare practitioners to deliver core services in a service of roundtables to engage and frame the deliverables of this important pilot program and develop meaningful and impactful strategies to both stabilize and grow our complement of professionals. This healthcare pilot will be our first formal sector. We plan to address labor constrictions, and we believe we must take local ownership and drive change. This council must take responsibility to support our business, but we know we can't do it alone. We know that we must provide our business more tools and support our successful, and will be calling on the provincial partners to actively engage and fiscally support our private strategy. By collectively investing in this, we believe the outcomes will outweigh the perceived negative challenges of doing nothing. Governments have a primary role in charting the direction of what our city should and can be fundamentally requires the collaboration of our provincial partners as retention affects us all. While we know our local government is most closely connected to support local businesses so they can grow, create jobs, and stay in our community, we need partners to help us affect change. In closing, we know the recognition engagement, and action is contagious, and it often leads to local government. The city of Summerside must own its future, it must champion change, and it must show leadership in effective positive change. Again, sorry for my struggling through that.
Thank you, Councillor Snow. Councillor Ramsey, you're up with Emergency Services. You're up.
I guess before I get started, there's one accolade that I forgot, who would be my grandson, who's playing for the PEI hockey team, Aiden McKay-Gallant. I want to congratulate Aiden and the whole team on their efforts, and all the teams that are here, actually, but I just didn't want to forget him. And with that, I am going to get into my fire service report, completed by Ken Culleton. For January, there were 28 calls paged out during the month, 2 medical first responder calls, 7 alarm panel calls, 3 structural fires, 2 carbon monoxide calls, 1 electrical fire, 3 car accidents, 1 outdoor fire violation, 2 false alarms, 1 mutual aid call to Wellington, 1 indoor smell of smoke, 3 cancel calls, and 2 miscellaneous calls. Firefighters were very busy for the month. They spent 384.5 hours training. Summerside Fire Department has recently added a 4-person Kubota 4-wheel drive utility vehicle to its fleet. The off-road emergency response unit will help look after 31 kilometers of shore frontage, boardwalk system, walking, biking, and snowmobile trails that pass through the coverage area of the department. The unit has off-road tires, but in the winter months is equipped with a track system that enables it to virtually go anywhere. Flashing red lights and scene lights have been added, enabling a nighttime response area to be lit up to daytime standards. The department will have a team of members certified for safe operation of this off-road unit. The vehicle is also equipped with the following: medical first responder equipment and a rescue basket, a winch system, a snowplow blade mounted on the front for the unit, and a 16-foot aluminum trailer for transporting. Police and EMS can also be transported to emergency scenes if requested. So the fire chief, Ron Enman, has stated to the fire services police services that they're more than welcome when they need the Kubota, that they're welcome to it. So it's a shared item for emergency services in Summerside. And thank you to, I know, Chief Ron and Deputy Chief Blanchard for their handyman creativity and putting all these extras onto this. It would have been thousands of dollars more. So they're very talented, and they've made it a lot less expensive for the city of Summerside to have that unit. So, and I'm open for questions if anybody has any. No? Corey, your light's just on.
Oh.
No? Okay, great. So then I'll go into the fire service report. The police services sponsored a phased interviewing course at a local motel for 24 municipal police officers on PEI. Funding for this program was provided by the federal government through the Guns and Gangs Initiative for Municipal Police. Sergeant Greg Vardy and Sergeant Fraser Firth from the RCMP Truth Verification Section delivered the training. These 5 days of training provides members in attendance with valuable tools when interviewing clients. Police chiefs on the island have been meeting with the province and Atlantic Police Association to discuss a cadet sponsorship program. All police services have been having difficulty retraining staff, so we are discussing a sponsorship program for trainees from PEI attending the academy. We are in early stages and are unsure how the program will look in the future. So that's just going to take a little bit of time to work its way out. Constable Grant McLeod, our identification member, attended a forensic photography symposium. He received training in new techniques in photography when attending crime scenes. The new traffic section is now fully functioning, and we have seen a substantial increase in traffic enforcement for the month, with 176 charges being laid and 69 warnings issued. This is an increase of more than 100% from the previous month. So something's working really well. Since August 2022, we have been investigating a large number of tools stolen from work sites. Our major crime section has apprehended and charged an individual for these thefts. A search warrant was executed, and a large quantity of tools have been recovered. We have a victim in our audience tonight, so this is good news. Deputy Chief Blackare has been representing PEI on the National Police Services National Advisory Committee. The advisory committee was established to assist Public Safety Canada receiving direction from the Assistant Deputy Minister's Crime Prevention and Policing Committee to provide strategic and operational advice to the Assistant Deputy Minister and, where appropriate, to the RCMP Commissioner to further the mission of the National Police Service. The committee meets semi-annually, normally in Ottawa, but most recently met in Vancouver, British Columbia. Chief Walker has been asked to sit on for the Atlantic Police Academy Screening and Selection Advisory Working Group. The group will be examining the selection process for new trainees attending the Atlantic Police Academy, submitted by Sinclair Walker. And that's my report.
Any questions?
Yeah.
Hearing none, thank you, Councillor Ramsey.
Thank you.
Item 7F, Community Services Tourism, Representative Councillor Morrison. Happy to have you back.
Thank you, Your Worship. I think I'm going to sit when I do this tonight. And I want to thank Director JP for the report. There was no slowing down in January for the Community Service Department as the Recreation Hub. Credit Union Place welcomed new neighbors with the grand opening of the Micro Inn and Suites by Master Built Hotels. This 83-room microtel officially opened Tuesday, the 24th of January. With this new asset attached to the Credit Union Place, the CUP has seen significant increase in foot traffic throughout the building on a day-to-day basis. Having the ability to travel from your hotel room to your kids' hockey tournament without ever having to go outdoors seems to be the asset that many visitors enjoy the most. The Dome had its usual jam-packed winter schedule in full swing with soccer, football, rugby, and lacrosse all utilizing the Dome for off-season training. Not to mention the 11 birthday parties hosted by the Dome and newly offered wedge golf lunchtime program that has been a massive success recently. Active Living in Summerside has not missed a beat, as they have been busy the past few months developing the Active Winter Programming Guide that is now being released to the public. The guide showcases all the programs that Active Living Summerside has to offer during this winter season, such as monster snow hill races, family skates at the Oval, the 6-week winter walks, and much more. Make sure to go to Active Living Summerside on Facebook to check out all their winter programming, along with winter facility updates that they provide on a daily basis. In the month of January, the Veterans Convention Center had 18 rentals, and this was on top of closing the center for a week to perform a deep clean of the space that involved having the carpets professionally cleaned, along with a few days of completing inventory, repairing equipment, and shampooing our center chairs to keep our venue in tip-top shape and offer the best 5-star service in the region. The 2023 Canada Winter Games also completed training in the VCC that would help prepare their volunteers and staff for all areas of the games. Community service staff are busy helping the Canada Games staff prepare to welcome the nations across multiple venues in the city. Lastly, or last but certainly not least, Evangeline School enjoyed their third field trip this year, as they tried to give their students some fun outings while they were limited in the space they have, waiting for their roof to be replaced. They said they were very glad to have a venue like ours to rely on for such an unexpected displacement. The Community Service Department is always up for any challenge, but especially when it comes to helping those in need. And just before I finish, I think just about everybody's been out at the cup or in that area the last few days. And it's really amazing, the condition of it and the luck and how everything is. So I'd like to congratulate all the staff on a job well done.
Rick, I have my light on here, and just a comment, that's what I was gonna say. Being a former chair of community services and being around to rinks all around, I do not think, actually I know, there's not a facility anywhere that is to the shape that place is in for cleanliness. People walking through, and I hear the comments all the time on how well it's maintained, and you really don't realize until you get out around and go to other communities and other facilities and see the age that others show compared to what we have. So congratulations to community service staff and all their hard work.
No, I was there for a little while yesterday and a couple hours today, and the place looks amazing. So it's a real pat in the back to the people involved.
And I think one of the really nice things, Councillor Rick, is when you come into the building, or into Credit Union Place, it's so bright and so airy, and I think that just really, if somebody's a little bit down or discouraged, you come in and you just have all of that bright light, and it's just very, very uplifting.
Thank you, Councillor Morrison. Moving on to 7G, Governance, Human Resources and Communications, Representative Councillor Adams.
Thank you, Your Worship. It's a shorter report this evening. The Joint Occupational Health and Safety Committee, as well as department subcommittees, continue to meet on a regular basis. Training was held for staff in regard to first aid, CPR, and AED. The department provided support at various meetings this month. A review of the city's occupational health and safety program is ongoing, with updates being made as required. Staff are preparing for the issuing of T4s. Leah Stetson was a successful applicant for the wastewater treatment plant operator position, so congratulations to Leah. Part-time staff were hired at Credit Union Place for the front desk and the bowling lanes. Competitions are currently underway for an information technology specialist, a utility customer service lead, and a police constable. And those are all on our social media platforms, if anybody's looking for more information on those. And staff took workplace training sessions on mental health as well this month. Before I close, I'd just like to advise everybody that we are in the process of collecting and identifying information for the CAO job description update. So we will be working with Council and current CAO Gordon on CAO's action plan, and we'll update more when we're following an upcoming Council priorities and planning session. So we'll look for a future update on that.
Great, thank you, Councillor Adams. And just to make note, that was a discussion we had at our Committee of the Whole discussion last week that we had in camera about needing to be able to provide additional support and guidance and clarity to our CAO, who's doing a great job, by the way. So that
Yeah. I think, like we had discussed, the city has, is constantly changing and updating, and there's just like some areas, some things that we haven't updated, and CAO Gordon's job description, as opposed to what he does on a daily basis, is probably two totally different things. So it's evolved quite a bit. So we're going to get that all updated and cross one off the list.
Great, thank you, Councillor. Moving on to 7H, Municipal Services Representative, Councillor Gallant.
There we go. Worship, fellow councillors, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank Greg Goody for doing up the report for February. Public Works, water, sewer, utility highlights. The water utility was busy after an extreme cold event from February 3rd to the 5th, which caused major pipes to freeze and need repair. Customers are reminded to mail inserts in the bills that are required to the emergency shut-off water of their facilities if they're not going to be home. This information can be found on the website to which numbers to call. The snow removal effects took up most of the department's time this month. The Municipal Services Department would like to thank our residents for their patience as their snow removal efforts continue throughout the city. With 2 storms occurring in daylight hours, it is doubly difficult to work around traveling vehicles and park down snow. Residents are asked for patience on a one-to-day efforts of snow services making a big change to the state of the roadways of the traveling public. Please patience winter driving methods and stop distance and speed. The electrical utility highlights. The extreme cold event on February 3rd to the 5th was minus 27 Celsius with a wind chill of minus 44, causing the highest peak of our records for the electrical utilities. A 27% increase from the last year's peak was recorded. At the height of the electrical demand on the utilities had 12 megawatts of wind and its desired plant running at 14 plus megawatts to meet the West Prince demand for electricity. As demanded for electricity grows for our heating source, customers are reminded at peak times, and I stress this, peak times, from 8 to 11 a.m. and 4 to 8 p.m. to avoid unnecessary use of electricity in these daylight hours. Water treatment plant operational details. A host of quick tours of the provincial government environment employees were witnessed and gathered the wastewater treatment sample for COVID testing. 2 major flood events occurred on January 16th and the 26th that caused double the amount of floods to occur at the day of the treatment plant for rainfall and thawing. Clearing a significant sludge tank blocked, replacing a mixed liquor recycling pipe, submitted federal reports to the WWTP for the 4th quarter of 2022, replaced broken belts on a rooftop unit. Public Works. Street signs repaired continued this month with snow events. Several potholes were repaired this month. Snow removal efforts. Plowed streets 15 times, plowed sidewalks 13 times, salted streets 27 times. Water and sewer utilities. 24 water samples were taken for clear bacteria results. 3 water main breaks this month were repaired. 14 water services turn-on, turn-offs this month. 4 sewer videos were performed this month. 2 fire hydrants were repaired from vehicle accidents. And 6 sewer calls this month. Electrical utilities. Meter changes continue. The industrial park, downtown boardwalk lighting repaired. Several traffic lights repaired and crosswalks. The EV charger at the fire hall was repaired. 8 heat for less service calls. Speed radar panel repaired on South Drive and Water Street East. Power and personnel efforts. Schooner Drive at Starlight Construction. Customer upgrades to new connection easing the weather hampered construction. And 3-phase line upgrades for apartment complex Water Street East is complete. And a question was asked at our last meeting from a councillor inquiring who is paying for the cost of the upgrading of the ditching on Greenwood Drive on the opposite side of the Echo Park. And the answer to that is the ditch was done to stop flow of the property of the downgrade on Greenwood Drive. And the city paid for it under the ditch cleaning program, because the ditch was there, but it had grown up with vegetation. That's my report. Any questions?
Thank you, Councillor Gallant. Moving on, item 7I, which is the Federation of PEI Municipalities. Representative is myself. There was one meeting this month, but the meeting was canceled because there was nothing on the agenda. So I have very little to report, obviously. However, there was a reschedule of the semi-annual meeting, which I was unable to make given the dates. But fortunately, we have the FPEIM president with us here today, as we do at all our council meetings right now. Councillor MacDougall, is there anything you wanted to note from that meeting?
Yes, we did have our semi-annual meeting. We had 2 or 3 different presentations in the morning, and plus after lunch they had a tour of the climate facility, climate change facility down there. It was very, very interesting, and they got a beautiful facility there, and they got the largest drone I ever seen. Anyway, no, it was a good day, and we do have our I'm not exactly sure of the date. I think it's April 24th of our annual meeting coming up. I believe that's a Monday. Yeah, so that's next on the agenda. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor. That's it, folks, for tonight. I did want to say, obviously, thank you, councillors, for all of your work, as always, and staff. Absolutely, this city staff here make this place run on the day-to-day, and we'd be lost without them, and also all the members of the public who join us here. We are at 7:30 something, 2. I would anticipate that we will, the next meeting and the meeting after that and the meeting after that will be substantially longer. There's a number of things coming up, so it's going to get the sort of heavy lifting's coming, so I'm looking forward to that, and I'm hoping folks tonight can go enjoy some of the Canada Games and cheer on some of these phenomenal young athletes who are in our communities doing their best and really having a great time and having a really good time. So I'll call for a motion to adjourn our meeting. Moved by Councillor MacDougall, second by Councillor Ramsey. Anyone opposed? Then we'll call the meeting adjourned. Thank you. Have a great night.